What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Michael. For those of you that are new, we're going to be speaking on the Capricorns. This is a slight description what the Capricorn pertains to. One of the most serious signs of the zodiac, Capricorn is here to get the job done. Represented by the goat, Capricorns are the entrepreneurs and CEOs of the astrology wheel, ready to tackle hard lessons without breaking a sweat. They are ruled by the planet Saturn, which teaches patience and serves as a guide towards inner authority. A major shift happens for most Capricorns during a huge transit known as a Saturn return, which occurs every 27 to 29 years. This is a challenging time, but also an opportunity for Capricorns to grow beyond their wildest dreams. This is going to be coming from, or the message I say should be coming from, the Angel Prayers Oracle cards. If you want to go copy some, feel free to do so. All right, let's go ahead and start. Spirit, what do we have for the Capricorns? Also, we're going to be doing a deck of 8. Forgot to mention. So the first one we have for you guys is balance. Right? First one we have for you guys is balance. We have thank you, angels, for bringing my life into balance. Right? They want you guys to bring your life into balance. Right? With a lot of different things coming into play. Right? You're learning to bring your life into balance. Figuring out all the things that are needed, all the things you want to do, all your attributes, all your characteristics. You're allowing yourself to, listen, I encourage people, and I will keep saying this, anytime I get a relevant topic to put this in, I try to associate this with making sure you guys are writing things down that you actually want to do in your day. Not things that are necessarily available, but things that are actually wanted to do. Like if you want to bake or whatever, you can make time for these type of things, right? Whenever you have free time, create it like a hobby time. Like these are your hobby moments. These are the things that you enjoy doing. So it's important to do that because you can start to attribute everything that you want into your life, right? And create balance within, thereby having structure, right? So having balance is one of the key points because it's going to help with the longevity of life in general, right? So you're finding balance with everything that you do. All right, what's next? Okay, we have connect with music, right? Thank you, angels, for inspiring me through music. A lot of you guys might like different songs. Now, there's no certain song you have to listen to when it comes down to being spiritual, whatever. Just because you want a positive train doesn't mean you can't listen to hip hop and things like that. We just have to understand with hip hop, and listen, I advocate this to everybody. Hip hop, music, anything like that is a form of entertainment purposes. So no matter what you listen to, you have to learn to use that in a positive manner and not commit any acts that are said or glorified in. Meaning, if you see a movie, a cowboy movie with people, aiming firearms at each other, that doesn't mean that you go out there and ride a horse and try to do the same draw or whatever the case is. So the same energy you apply to a movie, because it's not saying it's not based on true stories, but it's filmed to show the production or showing how things operated as like a story. So it's the same way with music. So you can listen to any type of music and be able to use that type of adrenaline you get from listening to any type of music, or that type of calmness or whatever the case is, into your day-to-day lives, whether it's motivational purposes, maybe teaching moments, whatever the case is, right? So just keep that in mind. If you guys do wish to listen to music, Spirit is calling for you guys to listen to music, or to even engage with musical activities, right? Instruments, things like that. Music is one of those things that go through life. Like each and every day we hear birds and stuff like that. And when you hear songs and stuff like on radio, soundtracks and stuff, all of these is a bunch of different sounds coming together, making a synchronicity of sounds, right? Which comes together as the music that we heard today. But sounds specifically are in everyday life. So music plays in our parts, whether it's intentional or unintentional. We always listen to sounds and things like that. Birds, traffic, all of these different things. So you just come into a realization about the music part, engaging with music or falling passionate with music. Again, this is any type of music. What is next for the Capricorns? All right, we have here the miracles of prayer from Archangel Sandolph, right? Thank you, Sandolph, for delivering my prayers to heaven. Right, so you're seeking that your prayers are being received. You guys are probably seeing things. You probably like Maybe you might have prayed for financial growth. Maybe you might have prayed for a lover. Maybe you might have prayed for health or good health or confidence in any craft. Maybe you might have prayed for a certain career choice, and things are starting to unfold, right? So now you're thanking the spirit team, I should say, the spirit team. One of which will be what is his name? Archangel Sandalov, right? You could be thanking him, or you could be thanking other spiritual teams. Thereby, you are thanking a spiritual source that allowed that clearly your prayers have been answered type of vibe. So you're in this energy of thanking, or you will be, or you should be. You know what I mean? Just kind of sending your prayers. You guys, if you guys are one of these spiritual channels, then I assume you guys believe in higher power. It's kind of like when you pray for your food, right? You have received the blessing of being able to eat again, so you're going to pray over your food. It's the same analogy with everything that you receive as a blessing, right? So consider that into, take that in consideration when it comes down to you actually being grateful, or this is a display of I want to say a sign to be grateful, right? That makes sense. Okay. What is next for the Capricorns? All right, we have take time to breathe. Thank you, angels. I breathe with ease. Knowing you're here, right? So you're knowing that the angels are protecting you. Having that protective energy, and knowing that regardless of what's to come, you will overcome any fears, any doubts, any anxiety, anything like that. It allows you to breathe a lot more smoother. And when I say breathe, I'm not talking literal in and out breaths. Of course, you're going to do that to survive with oxygen. I'm talking about not having that anxiety of feeling like everything is going to go downhill. Even if you have signs and red flags of things going downhill, you should never think that way. Because thinking that things are going to be at its worst will not only make things go at its worst by manifestation, but you'll also be preparing yourself to act as if things are going on the worst. Which means, instead of you, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you have a business, right? And your business is going downhill. But instead of you looking at it in an optimistic way to say, what can I do to learn from these situations? What can I do to better myself? You're in an energy of like, oh, I'm not gonna take no more risk. I'm gonna worry about it. I'm good. So now all your energy and time is going into worrying about a situation rather than going into problem solving. So this is why it's important to take a deep breath, walk outside, understand and recognize the things that you have already accomplished instead of focusing on what you have to lose. Instead of you focusing on what you have to lose, focus on what you have gained. So there's more positive and a more optimistic mindset, so that you can go forth with it and you have a lot more success with that, right? Because you'll start making decisions that can actually reflect on positive results versus making decisions like, I'm gonna sit in bed because shoulder shrug it off, like, oh, I'm not gonna receive nothing from it anyway. It's not the way to go, and that's definitely not the way that many businesses have strived. Now, this doesn't always have to be about business, but this is just an example that I could generate to a lot of you guys, right? Okay, that feels like that's one of the major concerns of today's world. All right, next we have for the Capricorns. All right, give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds here. Okay, we have 2 of them came out for you guys. First one is Under Your Feelings from Archangel Haniel. Thank you, Haniel, for supporting me as I honor my emotions. And the next one we have in reverse is, Dear angels, I allow you to support me as I grow to become more spiritually aware. So maybe you guys are having trouble becoming spiritually aware, as it came in reverse, right? The first one we talked about is honoring your feelings, right? So let's speak on this real quick. Now, honoring your feelings, it's kind of like this. If you want to do something and you generally feel, and disclaimer, it does not cause bodily, emotional, mental, financial, spiritual attacks, or even harm to another individual. If you feel a certain way, you guys know that famous song. Well, you probably don't. I don't know if you know this song, but it's like, that's just how I feel. Ooh, that, all of that. That is like a song I was listening to this morning. You can listen to it all day if you want. It's one of them songs that remind you, like, listen, you're gonna go through things. You're gonna start a task. Others might not agree with. Others might not understand. things like that, right? However, you got to give your mind. You got to give your, especially if you're not harming anybody and things like that. You're just kind of just living your life because you're only gonna live once and you only have your life to live, right? So it's important that you guys honor that feeling, honor that soul wrenching feeling that you guys feel like you should do the things that you wish to, right? Because you're gonna look back on it and regret it if you don't follow your mind. Now, your feelings. Now, okay, now the other side of the way, we're gonna talk about spiritual support. You might be feeling like you're not getting your spiritual support, right? Spiritual support came in reverse, so you kind of got a feeling of, it's like if you're getting for spiritual support, it would have came in. I feel like it would have came up right. Not necessarily like that, but in a way, it's like because it came reverse, we're gonna say that you feel like you're not getting spiritual support, meaning like you kind of feel like things are going not the right way that you desire. Here's the thing: we gotta understand. It's important to recognize, like I said, recognize your blessings, recognize to being grateful, and try to come out of this mentality. If you are, this could be for people that feel like they're not being guided the right way. If you guys feel like you're not, try to look at the things that you have and try your best to appreciate what you do have. Because listen, this is not the mentality we want to be in. You know what I mean? You don't want to, because things are not going your way. Because remember, everything happens in divine order and divine connection, right? Because things are not going your way at your exact moment, does not mean that you're not getting your support that you desire. And this can also relate to physical things as well, like family and things like that. We gotta pull away from, even if you feel like somebody should do for you and things like that, even if they feel like they should or other people feel like they should as well, try your best to pull away from that and to see what you can do for yourself, right? And also appreciate what they've done for you in the past. Remember, this could be present. This could be physical as well as spiritual. If you're looking at the higher power and saying he's not providing for you, don't do that. Let's take a step back and let's look at what has been provided, and let's start to look at what we can do for ourselves. Being grateful is one of the biggest attributes to life. Like, you have to be grateful for every little thing that you receive, because if I give and give and give and give and give to you guys, let's say I give to you, right? And let's say I'm taking from you. Let me put myself in that position. Let's say I'm taking from you, giving me things, right? And then all I do is I just talk about things that you didn't give me. Let's say you have a garage full of stuffed animals, and I'm like, yo, I want that teddy bear, I want that Mickey Mouse toy, I want all of these different things, and I'm asking from all of this, and there's that one stuffed toy in the back, or like a cheese stuffed toy, some random stuff like that, right? And I'm asking for that, and you're like, nah, I'm cool on that, I want to keep it. And I'm like, no, I'm persistent, and now I'm just so focused on something that I don't have versus all the things that was given to me. You're gonna kind of look at me kind of strange. So that's exactly if you guys ever get into this energy, not saying you're in this right now, but if you ever get into this energy of feeling ungrateful, just remember the things that was done prior, and then see how you can look at it in a different way. Maybe it's a teaching moment for you. Maybe it's something that you need to learn on your end. Things like that, right? So never feel like you're not getting enough support, whether through family or things like that. Try your best, even if you felt like that. Try your best to see it as a lesson, or even as an inner blessing, to say, you know what, maybe it's time for me to do my end. Maybe it's time for me to figure something out. And when people see, like real life people, when people see people trying and they doing on the end and they're trying to stay, on point and stuff, most people will have no problems giving more. You know what I'm saying? But it's there's certain individuals that feel like they're entitled, and that's what drives people away more. So I would just say, look at it as a blessing that you can manage things on your end and be more independent and self-reliant and things like that. Not everybody's the same way, but this is an energy that you want to come out of feeling like you have lack of support, because you don't want to focus too much on what you don't have. You want to focus on what you do have, because what you don't have is what you don't have, right? It's not like you can, if I don't have a tool to fix something, it's not like me focusing on something, like me focusing on a screwdriver that I don't have is not going to fix my car. So it's better for me to focus on what I do have. Okay, maybe I have like I don't know, I'm not too good with making up new tools, but let's say I have like a bobby pin. Okay, maybe I can use the bobby pin. Let me try with the bobby pin. It might work, it might not work, but I don't try, I never know. So it's having that mentality to coming away from focus on things that you don't have, i.e. Lack of support, right? All right. Next one we have for you guys for the Capricorns. Let's see. Capricorns. Capricorns, Capricorns, Capricorns. Ooh. Okay, we have the miracle of forgiveness from Archangel Jeremiel. Thank you, Jeremiel, for helping me understand the process of forgiveness. Forgiveness mainly, it allows you to let go of all of that baggage. Like, it's nothing wrong with talking about things and bringing things up as like a reflection. Kind of like if you guys ever went to school, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys went to school. So let's say you went to school the following year or even the following week. Let's say Friday your teacher teaches you something. They might have taught you that lesson, but they're still going to try to reflect on it come Monday so that you kind of get a better understanding of what's to come later, because you still they want to make sure that you're on point with what's going on. So they would reteach the lesson, but briefly. So even though you might discuss a topic that you went through kind of briefly, just because you're not necessarily going through it, you're just briefly discussing it. It's okay to do that, just as long as it's not resentment. Like, you're not talking about a person out of like in a way where you wish they would feel what you feel and wish that they get their karma. Because truth be told, they probably already did. And just because we don't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. So it's important that we come away from that mentality and that thinking and that energy, because that can often boomerang effect on us. Because what we put out is what we get in this world, right? We all know that. So it's important to forgive so that and I look at it like this. If I commit sin, and I go to the higher power and I say, look, can I go in heaven? What if he did that to us? You know what I'm saying? What if he decided not to forgive because of all the times we've constantly committed this and committed that, all the things against the Bible and things like that? So it's like, how can we wish to be accepted if we're not willing to accept if we're not willing for us to forgive? How can we expect it to be forgive? Again, you get what you give. So just keep that in mind, right? Process of forgiveness, learning to forgive, or not learning, but putting that to that mentality or that energy out there of willing to forgive, right? And your final message for the Capricorns. Capricorns. We have honor your beauty from Archangel Jophiel. Thank you, Jophiel, for helping me to discover my inner and outer beauty, right? This doesn't mean like magazine covers, oh, you gotta be the prettiest person. No, listen, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So regardless who might look at you as beautiful, in or out, you have to discover your own type of beautiful. You have to love yourself. No matter who or what loves you, you have to love yourself. If people don't love you for you, then there's no point in changing up. So I encourage you guys, don't be out here trying to change up for an individual, whatever the case is. People have to be willing to accept you for you. You know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to love yourself. You have to love yourself first and foremost. You have to respect yourself. You have to respect your boundaries and things like that. Now, when you do get into a relationship, it is a 2 for 2. Like, okay, let's say they might not agree with what you do when you were single. You might not agree with what they was doing when they were single. So you kind of come together. And that's more on the morals and principles. That don't really have anything to do with your looks and your inner beauty. It's just about what you do and what you don't do, right? That's a respect me. Now, when you're on your own, or even when you get into a relationship or things like that, when it comes down to how you feel, you should be able to express your emotions. This is inner beauty. How you look. Present yourself appropriately, you know what I'm saying, respectfully for the other partner that you're associated with. However, to an extent, you should be able to wear your hair a certain way, or, you know what I mean, be able to enjoy yourself as a person. Not even on how you look on the outside perspective, but how you feel when you look in the mirror. Meaning, you feel a certain way when you look at yourself. You're like, okay, I like this hairstyle. And it's appropriate, and it's like, it's no word, like, not weird, but if it's respectful, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're in a relationship, and like I said, because you know how you have like costume parties and people do like crazy stuff, like where they will like, let's say it's I want to say sexually explicit. Like it's something. I'm just saying the extreme, right? And we're just going off of the extreme where it's a sexually explicit hairstyle that symbols something that could deem as disrespectful to your partner or whatever the case is. I'm just going full extent with it just to clarify it. That's where it would be a possible problem when it comes on relationships. But it's important to respect yourself, respect your boundaries and things like that. This is why I feel like a lot of times people talk about like cleavage and things like that about certain situations is because they're not saying that people can't do it. It's just about people wanting people to respect themselves. So make sure you're not doing things for others as well that you wouldn't necessarily do by yourself. So I know it sounds like a runoff, but just keep that in mind. Respect yourself, love yourself. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's dressing, your looks, just in order altogether is about loving yourself, because if you don't love you, who's gonna love you better than you? You know what I mean? So you just gotta keep that in mind. Alright, hopefully that made sense and I wasn't just going all over the place. That's gonna complete you guys' video for the Capricorns today. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will see you guys on the next video.